Hi group 1, welcome to your reading. It feels so good to say that again. Alright, so we're going to do all upright cards today, and we're leaving today's topic pretty open. So whatever spirit wants to share about your future spouse. We have the Ace of Pentacles to start us off. Ooh, we have the Tower. The Four of Cups. It looks like this Tower is a blessing in disguise. We have the Four of Wands. The Five of Wands. Ooh, and we have the Nine of Swords. There's something going on here where there's a blessing in disguise that's causing a disruption. And it's actually good fortune. It's good luck here with the Ladybug and the Ace of Pentacles. It's an opportunity for a new beginning. This would be like someone suddenly losing their job, or suddenly, like if they own their own business, something bad happens where they have to reconfigure what they had planned. And it's like, oh no, this is such a disaster. But it ends up being just fine in the long term. Like maybe if they own their own business, they launched a new product and it didn't do well, and now they have to figure it out. I do think this is with your future spouse, but if this sounds like you, it could be that you two are mirroring each other. Because it does feel like there's some sort of opportunity and they're not seeing it because they're focused on this loss. And it really is all about perspective. Like you can see the glass half full, or you can see this as, wow, this is like a chance to pivot and do something different. But when a Tower moment happens like this, it's hard to see the silver lining, right? Like it's hard to see that there's actually something better coming. It's hard to have faith that that's a possibility, because it really does shake their foundation with the Four of Wands. And there is a lot of conflict. I think there's a lot of blame being passed around about why this Tower happened. And I think they are sort of blaming, I don't think that they're necessarily taking ownership of why this Tower fell. I feel like they're kind of pointing fingers right now and blaming other people, or yeah, they're not really taking ownership of it. And I think that's fair. They're human. I think they're a little bit embarrassed with this Nine of Swords, and the kitty has the blanket pulled like halfway over their face here. I think they're embarrassed. And I've been through this myself. I mean, you work really hard and you put in all of this effort towards something. You have a goal in mind, and when it doesn't work out, you can feel shame. And so I think they're just having a very human moment right now. And I think what is on the other side of it is so incredibly beautiful for them, and is actually going to lead them to you. 10 of Cups, bottom of the deck here. They can't see Six of Wands, that this is actually not only a blessing in disguise, but this is going to put them on a path towards feeling so successful in more areas than one, including their love life. So they can't see the blessing here. You know, they're just not seeing the bigger picture the way that their guides can. And so something about this Tower moment, something about this sudden ending in their life, is actually putting them on the path towards uniting with you. And so if you've been sitting here like, when am I going to meet my person? Plans are being put into motion here to help bring you into union. So the wheels have been set in motion. There is progress on this, but they have to go through this first. They have to get through this Tower. They have to accept this blessing of the Ace of Pentacles. And we see in 2 cards here, they're being offered a blessing. they're being offered an opportunity and they aren't noticing it, but they will. They will. And once they move past this tower, then they're going to be able to come in to union with you. Let's see here. Anything more about this union with their future spouse? We have fire sign energy, Leo, Sagittarius, and Aries. And so this could be their sun sign, or they just have a very fire sign dominant birth chart here. And you know, fire sign energy, it makes a lot of sense to me as a Leo myself that this is their reaction to the tower, because fire sign energy, it is very prideful, right? It is very image focused, and fire sign energy is quite ambitious and goal oriented and likes the applause, you know. Fire sign energy feeds off of that external validation of, hey, you did a great job, and that public recognition. And fire signs tend to be in the spotlight in some capacity because people are just drawn to that energy. And so I think it's embarrassing for them. It's embarrassing for them. But the magic of fire signs is that they also bounce back really quickly. I would say the same as air sign energy too. They bounce back really quickly. They don't hold on to things. And so they're going to take their moment. They're going to feel embarrassed. They're going to feel ashamed that this tower moment has happened. But then once they process that, once they get out of their feelings and they stop being dramatic about it, it reminds me of that meme, like, I'm going to be fine, but I'm going to be dramatic about it first. Like, yeah, like once they have their little dramatic, self-important moment, once their ego, you know, has felt what it needed to feel, then they're going to bounce back. They're going to dust themselves off and they're going to figure this out. Okay? And your person is typically like very confident, very self-assured, a go-getter, you know, someone who likes to be successful, and someone who, for better or worse, kind of measures how they feel about themselves based upon how successful they are and their sort of status in life. And that's something that I think is part of their like journey, you know, to sort of work through and understand that they can't live for that applause. They can't live for that positive feedback. But I mean, I would argue like all fire signs have to go through that lesson at some point. So they're going to be okay. We have spying, keeping tabs, searching online. I think they're obsessing about this tower moment and like the sort of gossip around them and like what people in their lives think about this. And we have a third party situation here. For this third party card, I'm actually just being drawn to workaholic and nothing else. I think that they have really had a tower moment in their career. They're embarrassed about it because they have put so much of their time and energy and effort towards this, and to have it blow up in their face in this manner, again, I think that they just have some shame about it. But I think that there's someone who knows how to make money, knows how to be successful. They've done it before and they'll figure it out again. Oh my gosh, social media. They might do something with their work that relates to social media. And I mean, most businesses now, I think, have some kind of online presence. But I wonder if they work on sort of the marketing side of it, or if there's some kind of fallout or pushback on social media where, you know, them or their team messed up And so they're trying to handle the fallout of that. But it's meant to somehow put them on a better trajectory anyway in their career. It's reminding me, like Glossier had that whole thing where they redid like the formula for their lip balms. And I mean, you would have thought someone died with the way there was like all of this pushback. They discontinued one of their like fan favorite like I don't know if you call it a scent or flavor or what for lip balm, but yeah, so like people freaked out about it and it was this whole big mess. So, and I mean, they ended up having to just bring back the old formula and all this, but it could be something like that where they are a part of a business or they have their own business and there was some kind of like pushback on social media or some kind of failure in some way. And it's weird because somehow this tower moment brings them to you. And I love to see this true love card and the 10 of Cups because, like, I always have to say, you know, like, not every marriage is happy and not every marriage lasts. Like, not to be a downer, but, like, we know that that's the reality. And so when I can tell you guys, like, hey, it looks like you are going to marry your true love and you're going to have a healthy, happy marriage, I am always going to say that anytime I see any indication of that, because I think it's important to acknowledge that, right? Especially if you're feeling down that you haven't met them yet, because then that tells you that this person is worth waiting for. Oh my gosh, we have longing, missing you, on their mind, time apart. I feel like with this particular one, there's this longing within them to go back to a younger version of themselves. Like, I feel like they're really reminiscing and feeling very nostalgic about a past version of themselves that was a lot more confident and kind of like stupidly confident because they hadn't had a big failure yet. And it really is sort of them just avoiding what is happening right here, right now. So they got to get out of that energy. They really do. Because, I mean, even if it wasn't leading them to meet you, they still need to accept this Ace of Pentacles too. Like, it's time to move on. It's time to get out of this woulda, coulda, shoulda energy and just, yeah, they need to listen to their intuition because right now they are very, very blocked. But once they do, they are going to have this glow up moment. They're going to have that light bulb epiphany moment of how to move on from this, how to find success again, and that is going to lead them to you. I am curious, Spirit, if you can go ahead and tell us, let's grab the Crystal Unicorn Tarot. If you can tell us what this Ace of Pentacles is, like what's next for them, what opportunity is being offered to them, what is next for them. And, you know, it may be different, but we'll see if we can get, because I mean, it is a general reading, so it may be different for each of your future spouses, but let's see if we can get a little bit more clarity. Y'all know I'm always trying to get more details than what is like actually feasible in a general reading. Let's see. Ooh, 8 of Wands. So this is a wave of positive changes. Okay, yep. And this is confirming to me. Remember how I said with that third party card, I was just really being drawn to the word workaholic and nothing else on that card. This is really what it was, is that with this tower here, they burned themselves out at their job. Burnt out. And I think one day they just had this moment where they snapped a bit and they just had to leave. It actually reminds me of this Hallmark movie I watched called Savoring Paris, and she's sitting in this meeting. The main character, she's sitting in this meeting, and everyone around her is like droning on and on. She is having to taste test this like awful food that's nothing like the recipe that she came up with. And the lights are flickering and her eye is twitching and she has a headache. And she just stands up and she's like, I'm going on vacation. I'm leaving. I'm going to Paris. And she goes to Paris. And then she doesn't want to come back. And then she ends up meeting the love of her life. And she does actually have a little bit of a love triangle at first. So I think it's similar to that, where they overworked themselves. They were really burnt out. And I think part of it with like the social media messages and things that we were getting was that it was just relentless. You know, like they have a job where they have to keep up with social media. They have to answer like Teams and emails and like text messages and calls. Like it's just constant. Like even if they aren't at the office or their place of business, you know, even if they're away from their job, there's still this like constant onslaught of virtual communication that they have to keep up with. And they snapped. And I think that's why they're so embarrassed, because they actually burnt out. How embarrassing for a fire sign to lose your fire, to lose your spark. How embarrassing. But that's what happened. They burnt out. They burnt out. They couldn't take it anymore. And I mean, with us fire signs, we can snap like that sometimes. I've walked out of a job only one time, but I did it. So it was embarrassing too, because I had to pack up my office and all my like cute decor. So maybe they had a moment like that where they just couldn't take it anymore and they quit their job on the spot. And then we're like, oh my God, I just quit my job. But it's going to be one of the best decisions they have ever made. With the Eight of Wands, it's going to start a domino effect of positivity in their life. I mean, when I think of the Eight of Wands, I think of dominoes falling. I think of the butterfly effect. Like it's the tide turning. It's a wave of positivity, of new beginnings coming at you, new opportunities. It's a lot of good stuff coming in all at once. And so thank goodness that they left. Thank goodness they had the guts to leave. And with the Knight of Wands, they are going to get that spark back. They are. Yeah. We have the Eight of Swords and the Ace of Swords. They were feeling so stuck, so trapped, but they felt like they had to stay. For so long, they felt like they had to stay. They felt like they couldn't leave. And then they just had this Ace of Swords moment where enough was enough. Enough was enough. They couldn't do it anymore. And that somehow leads them to you. It's like, and I think sometimes that happens too, like when you're so overworked and you're so burnt out, and then you finally take a break. That's when you finally have the space for blessings to come in. That's when you can finally hear your own intuition, when you take a break, when you take a rest. And I mean, that's always something that's said too, like you find the love of your life when you stop looking, when you stop feeling so stressed about it. Let's see. What will your relationship be like with your future spouse? What do you have to look forward to, or what do you need to know? We have forgiveness. Finally being with someone who knows how to apologize, who knows how to say, I'm sorry. For some of you, maybe this is someone from your past, because we did get longing and missing you time apart. That's only maybe for one or two of you in this group, but it came through, so I had to say it. But yeah, finally being with someone who knows how to say sorry, who knows how to take accountability for their actions, being with someone who can actually genuinely apologize and mean it, and has the emotional intelligence and capacity to take accountability is actually a really big deal. So I think that's beautiful, like healthy conflict resolution. Ooh, we have heartbreak here. This may really be someone from the past for some of you. We have patience. I think also with these two cards, I'm getting this message. This is going to be someone who is really patient with the triggers that you have from past heartbreak. Because let's be honest, we all come into relationships with certain triggers from the past, our own baggage, right? No one is coming into any type of partnership totally healed, totally perfect, without any flaws or issues, right? Like we all have our stuff. And I mean, like you can ask my husband, I am suspicious. Like I don't, and it's not even specific to love. Like I am suspicious in general. Like I question intention all the time, like all the time. Even with like friendships or like employers, like I'm always questioning like, okay, what's the intent behind like what they're saying and things like that. So that is something, right, that like he has to deal with, this like natural tendency towards suspicion that I have. And so that's a trigger from my past, right? Because of a history where I was lied to or I was misled or, you know, false promises were made. And so that's just one example to give context for you guys. But if you're aware of what your triggers are, if you're aware of what your baggage is, that's great, because then you know, okay, my future spouse is going to have patience and understanding when it comes to those triggers. I remember I was watching an episode of Married to Medicine. It was an old episode. And Eugene was talking about how Toya, his wife, had been cheated on in the past. And so he's mindful of that. And even though he's never done anything to break her trust in any capacity, he will hand over his phone. You know, like there's no passcode or whatever. Like he's an open book because he knows she has triggers from the past, and in any way that he can provide reassurance or alleviate her worries, he will, because he cares about her more than some principle of privacy, okay? Which I think is nice. I think it's nice to give grace. And with strings here, if you have dealt with emotionally manipulative people in the past, people who were controlling or would put you down or play on your insecurities as a way to control you or keep you feeling small in the relationship, or like, oh, you should be lucky to be with me. I see this being an ending to that. Like your future spouse is going to be someone who doesn't try to keep you codependent on them, doesn't try to foster insecurity within you, to keep you in the connection or to manipulate you in some way. We have passion here, so the physical intimacy is going to be very spicy. And I definitely think there's an energy here of them wanting to express love to you in the way that you need it and the way that you want to receive it, and not in the way that's necessarily like easiest for them, which I think is very kind. Anything more about your future spouse? We have magical powers. I think this is your way, your future self's way of saying that it's almost like they've cast a spell on you. This is how like attracted you are to them. Because I think it's not just their physical appearance that you're drawn to. It's their sense of humor. It's their energy. It's their work ethic. It's how reliable they are. It's the way that they make you feel special. The way that they have this ability to make you feel so happy and joyful even when previously you were having the worst day ever, right? Like they can just pull you out of a funk. They can pull you out of a total feeling of despair. Like you could be bawling your eyes out and they say something and it just makes you laugh. Because I do think they have this like comedian kind of aspect to them as well. And it does feel like, as intense as this is, right? As intense as the passion is, sensuality, like the physical attraction, the physical intimacy, it's very strong. Like that's a big part of your marriage, of your relationship, is this connection through physical intimacy. But even so, I still feel like there's also this strong energy of friendship. Like you really feel like you married your best friend. Yeah, like harmony. And that's not to say, you know, that they're perfect and that they're, you know, never going to annoy you or irritate you or anything like that. But it's just like most of the time we get along. And when we do fight, it's over something that actually matters. Like we don't sweat the small stuff. Most of the time we do see eye to eye. Most of the time we do agree and we do want the same things and we do understand each other. And when we do have these moments where we are fighting, it helps both of us to grow because we're fighting over something that matters, not over stupid, inconsequential things. And I do think, you know, you need some conflict in a relationship, again, to grow together and to help hold each other, you know, accountable when you need to. But also I think that fuels that spark too and keeps the chemistry going, challenging each other, right? Like you don't want to always be with someone who just agrees with everything that you say every minute of the day, because that would be quite dull and boring. And you wouldn't grow that way either. So I think that when you do have conflict, for the most part, it is productive in a way. Anything more we should know? We have the Hermit here. I mean, yeah, like this is that Nine of Swords we got in the very beginning. They are single right now. They are single, but I do think that they are very much in their feelings. They're thinking about the past. They're trying to recover from this tower moment with their career, and it's like they've lost their mojo, you know, and they got to get it back. They got to get their groove back, and when they get their spark back, that's when they'll come into union with you. The Hanged Man, it's like they're between worlds right now, especially with the way it's depicted here. They're between worlds. They're in a transitional phase, but when they come out of it, that's when they'll be ready to come into union with you. And I do think this is a soulmate, divinely guided kind of union here. What will they love most about you? What will they love most about you? Your confidence. Yeah, I mean, that's a very fire sign thing, like being drawn to other confident people. Even if you don't feel confident, they're going to see you that way, or you will be confident by the time you come into union. But they like your confidence, and they like that they can have confidence in your relationship. Like they trust you, and they know that there's mutual loyalty there, mutual respect. And they really do feel like, you know, this is the love of my life. Protection here. I think there's a desire to protect you, a desire to kind of shield you maybe from the harshness of life. And I think it's a very like sweet, nurturing energy of like, any way I can make your life a little bit better, I want to. But they also really love and appreciate about you that you are protective of your energy. You know, they like that you aren't like a people pleaser trying to get everyone to like you And mind you, they care about that external validation, right? Like we talked about them needing that kind of applause, needing that positive feedback. And the fact that you could care less about what anybody thinks, they have real respect for that. They're drawn to that. Let's see what else we have here. Oh, we have luck. And I think this is very simple, but they feel very lucky to be with you. And I think it's hard for them to just kind of pick you apart. And their future spouse's higher self is saying, it's hard to just pick you apart and say, I like this thing or I like that thing about them, because for your future spouse, it's an overwhelming, all-encompassing feeling of love. And it's hard for them to articulate it because they just feel that in their bones. Like they just feel like there's no one else I would rather be with. There's no one else for me. You are my person. And I think that's the romantic in them too, you know, because it's not a checklist. It's not like, oh, well, I wanted to marry you because of X, Y, and Z. Like they feel like you are their soulmate. We have B, community, cooperation, and sweetness. I just love B so much. I feel like anytime I see a B, I think it's a symbol for good luck. So I'm going to pass that good luck on to you all as well. But community, cooperation, and sweetness. I do think there's this energy here of mutual effort. Like in your marriage, it really is a team effort. It really is a true partnership. And it's not going to be one of those frustrating things where you feel like you're just roommates or you feel like your future spouse is immature and childish and like you have to take care of a grown adult, you know, because they're not cleaning up after themselves or they're not contributing to the household chores. And, you know, if you have children, they're not contributing to childcare and you feel like a married single parent. It's not like that. It really is mutual effort being put in. And I mean, on a day-to-day basis in a marriage, like that stuff matters. Like, are you pulling your weight or not? And I think also with this, what you contribute to the household, they are going to appreciate. And same thing, like it goes both ways here. And I think that's nice too. Like, thanks for doing the dishes. Thanks for taking the trash out. Thanks, like just showing appreciation and acknowledging what each person contributes to the day-to-day like functioning of your household. And we have soil, stability and simplicity. I do think this is going to be, like I said, a stable, lasting, healthy marriage. But I think the reason for that is that you guys keep it very simple. You keep it very simple. Like we show appreciation for each other. We put in the effort. We make time for quality time. We, you know, make sure that we have a nice gift on holidays and things like that, anniversaries. Like we do the necessary work. We check in with each other. When you're talking, I'm listening. I'm not scrolling on my phone. Like we do that basic, simple stuff that keeps a marriage going. We do that. We're honest with each other. We're faithful. Like we keep it simple. Like why complicate loving each other? We keep it simple. And that's why we are so successful as a couple. Now, the autumn season could be significant for when you come into union with them. And if you don't have autumn like where you live, just take this as the months of September, October, and November, because I do think Spirit speaks to me in a way that, because like where I live, though, that's the months where autumn is significant. So I do think Spirit speaks to me I don't know how to explain it, but anyway, those are the months that are significant, okay? Unless it's autumn in some other time. So if you don't have autumn at all where you live, September, October, November. If you do have autumn where you live and it's just in different months, then claim those months, okay? All right. Good Lord. I feel like I said that in the most backwards way possible. I might be a little rusty, y'all. You might have to... I've been away for a while. You might have to bear with me a bit. Okay. I was going to get the months of the year card, but I don't think we need months of the year now that we've got this one. So let's just do a love token from your future spouse. And let's get the little grab bag out too to see what we get. Sorry, just checking time. We have good for a romantic sunset and good for a long massage. I feel like that's very on brand for your future spouse. Okay. And these little grab bag messages are just little bonus messages. They are more specific though. So if something doesn't resonate, just leave it. Because remember, it's a general reading here. One of their love languages is words of affirmation. That makes a lot of sense with them being a fire sign or having fire sign dominant birth chart. They are muscular or like well-toned, you know, fit. They are not your usual type in some capacity. And I mean, this could be as simple as they have a different hair color than what you typically prefer. Or maybe you don't typically like fire sign people, you know? Like, it could be that. People make such a big deal about that message. Like, I do get people getting upset in the comments about that. But, I mean, it could just be that there's something unexpected about this person. Like, it doesn't have to be this big thing. And if it's not your message, it's not your message. We have animal lover. They do have at least one pet, okay? All right. Now, I do want to get an Alchemy of Spirit card message for you. This is just a bonus. Anything your guides want to say to you doesn't have to be related to the reading in any way. One of my goals that I've been wanting to do for a while now is to add more messages to the grab bag because I haven't done an update in a while. So I think I'm going to try to get that done this week. Okay, number 17 here. And I'm reading the guidebook because for this one, it's actually really good. Okay, we have the island, moment of presence, here and now. That is all that there is. Have you forgotten how to be in awe of the little things? Well, today the universe wants to remind you to be in the moment. Maybe you have spent too much time thinking about where you want to go that you have forgotten to live in the presence. Slow down, get out of your head, and look around you. Feel the vibrance of the trees, listen to the birds, and get in tune with the beauty of the world. Place your feet on the ground and your hands on your chest. Feel your presence and the beat of your heart. Feel the cold, feel the heat, lower your shoulders, unclench your jaw, and reconnect with your body. Find refuge within your own being. There is a safe island within yourself that you can go back to every time you feel afraid, unstable, or are in despair. The island of self is just one breath away. It is through practicing stillness and being grounded in the moment that you can access this place of tranquility in your soul. So the more hurry you have, the more stillness you need to practice. I did accidentally say presence instead of present at the beginning. Sorry about that. Oh, what a day. I've been filming Etsy readings a lot. So that's what's been holding me up from getting to film a reading for YouTube here. So I do apologize for that. I'm going to try to do a February prediction. but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get it done in time because I do need to pivot and get the readings for Patreon done. I will say Patreon has this new thing now where you can just purchase a singular reading instead of having to subscribe. So I'm going to make that an option available for you guys as well, but I'll have to just make a post on the community board when those readings are up and when they're available, but I'm going to make sure I do that for this month as well. Of course, if you want to join the Patreon community and you're not already subscribed, it's a good month to join because I'm doing 3 readings this month instead of 2, just to thank everyone for their patience while I've been away. And yeah, I would like to say a huge thank you to you all for your support and your kind words. It really does matter. I'm not going to do a long outro or anything today because I'm trying to conserve my voice. But yeah, thank you guys so much. I hope you enjoyed this reading, and I'm wishing you all the best. All right, that concludes your reading. I hope it resonated. I hope it brought you some comfort. Please consider liking, commenting, sharing, or subscribing. Hitting the notification bell lets you know whenever I upload. The easiest way to support the channel is to watch the ads. I know they can probably be a little bit annoying, but you can always mute them and just have them on in the background. So I really appreciate anyone who does that as well. I also want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has watched the ads already, been a regular viewer, donated on Venmo, tipped with SuperThanks, or just commented or liked a video. It means the world to me and to Miss Gracie, of course. I'm wishing everyone the best as always. Please take care, and I hope to see you in my next reading. Welcome to your reading. It feels so good to say that again. I know I've been away for a while, so thank you to everyone for staying subscribed to the channel. I really do appreciate it. So I wanted to do just kind of an open reading today about your future spouse. So anything your guides want to say today, I'm going to let them direct the reading here. Thought it'd be a nice soft return to the channel. So group 2's future spouse spirit, connecting with their energy, and we'll do all upright cards today. A big thank you to my guides and your guides for the messages that we're about to receive. And we have the 7 of Pentacles to start us off. Page of Pentacles, So we have Leo, Aries, Sagittarius energy with that King of Pentacles. I'm sorry, the King of Wands, Lord. Oh my gosh, no wonder. For some reason, I said King of Pentacles instead of King of Wands. And then the next card that comes out is the King of Pentacles. Oh man, that's funny. That's so funny. All right, let's see. And then we get, I'm just taking the Six of Swords because I'm just drawn to this one. And then we have the Lovers here. Beautiful. Okay. I mean, with this King of Wands coming up, if you were drawn to group 1, there may be a few messages there for you as well. But with the King of Pentacles, now we have some Earth sign energy as well. Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. So those could be significant energies for your future spouse as well. I do think, though, there's something about the combination of earth and fire sign energy where it doesn't necessarily go together the way water and earth go together or the way fire goes with air. It's not necessarily like the most complementary energy because you think like, oh, like scorched earth, right? But even though this is kind of like an odd couple here, the marriage between the fire sign and the earth sign energy, even though that's kind of like an odd pairing, I think there's something about that blend of energy that can really create a power couple of force. And I think even if you resonate more so with like a divine feminine energy and you're watching this, I think that there was something about me being drawn to this particular deck that does have like a woman, right, on the King of Wands card. Like it's a little bit, I don't know, more like gender neutral. And when we're talking about divine feminine or divine masculine energy, we're not talking about gender anyway, right? But I think there's something there about you two really being a power couple. You both kind of, it's like no one is wearing the pants in this relationship, and I hate that expression, but like no one is the boss here. Like we are both, we're both bosses, like we're both strong individuals. We are both kind of forces of nature here. Like we're both a bit bossy, we're both a bit stubborn, we both like to get our way. Neither one of us is, I don't know, submissive, I guess. And so does that sometimes create some friction? Yeah, but I think both of you have so much respect for each other. And I think you kind of like the friction. I think you kind of like someone who can stand up to you, someone who isn't afraid to disagree with you, someone who isn't afraid to call you out when you need to be called out. And you can have an honest conversation with them too and tell them how you really feel. And it's like, you don't have to tiptoe around each other. This isn't a relationship where you just tell the other person what they want to hear. This is really honest and direct and, you know, maybe sometimes blunt, but I think you two both have a good sense of humor about it, and neither one of you is calling all the shots. I mean, you really are a team, and it really is a marriage where both of you have equal say when it comes to big decisions. You know, with the Two of Wands here, you consult each other. You make decisions together. You make choices together. You make all of your plans for the future together. It's not one person, you know, calling all the shots here. It really is all about respecting the other person's input. And with the Seven of Pentacles here, I do think both of you really take the time to get to know each other and learn each other and understand each other. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons why communication breakdown can happen in a marriage, is when you have one person or maybe both people unwilling to really take the time to understand how their other partner functions, their temperament, how they prefer to be communicated with. So for example, in this marriage, like one of you may notice that the other person shuts down emotionally if the other person raises their voice, or, it is outwardly like angry. And so then if you notice that is like a repeating pattern, you can't change your partner, but you can change your actions, right? Your approach. And so you're like, okay, if they emotionally shut down when I raise my voice, or I'm acting in a way that is a bit aggressive, then maybe I need to, if I'm angry or upset, take a moment, calm down, and then come to them when I can speak to them without raising my voice, so they don't emotionally shut down and we can have a productive conversation to resolve the conflict, right? That's the type of thing I'm talking about. Like really taking the time to understand each other and how the other person functions. And so communication is so much stronger as a result. And I think with this Page of Pentacles too, like both of you are like go-getters. Both of you are go-getters. And it is, I think, an equal partnership in terms of building up that financial abundance together, growing together. Like whatever your long-term goals are for money and stability, like both of you are achieving those goals together. And that could be like just one person working outside of the home. But if the other person who stays at home is, helping manage like the grocery store bill, and it could be as simple as that, so that there isn't overspending in that area, then that is contributing to long-term financial goals, right? Like if you're saving money on food and household expenses because the other person is like shopping in a way that's very thrifty and smart, that's helpful. That's helpful. Or if one person is, making all of these affordable but tasty like home-cooked meals, and you two don't have to eat out so much and you can save money in that area. I don't know why food is coming to mind, but I guess because of like all the harvest on this card, all the veggies. But yeah. And with the Six of Swords here, you have a marriage where both of you kind of can play the role of being the comforting one. Like both of you know how to comfort, reassure the other person. It's not like just one of you is the fixer, or one of you is the problem solver, or only one of you has emotional intelligence and is able to hold space for someone's feelings. Like, no, like both of you are good listeners. Both of you know and are willing to step in and help the other person out. And so, yeah, I think this is a really beautiful marriage. And with the Lovers here, I do think this is a soulmate union. But with the Lovers, it's also about choice. And it's like, even if we weren't soulmates, I would still choose you, because that's how deep the love is. I am curious to see what's going on in your future spouse's life right now. We have teardrops, great personal sorrow. They're going through something. Let's see what we get. Egg, success assured with good plans and hard work. We have Vase, secret admirer. And we have fair man, dealings or relationship with a man with blonde, gray, or white hair. And then we also have turkey, someone is behaving stupidly. I'm getting a pretty interesting message from this. I feel like they could be going through a breakup right now, because I don't think this fair man is representing your future spouse. I think this fair man is someone who has caused this great personal sorrow for your future spouse. Because with this, someone is behaving stupidly and like this secret admirer, it is giving me this energy of like they were with someone and like with someone romantically, and there was this possible like third party situation with this fair man. And so they're dealing with that. But with this egg card here, like success assured with good plans and work, it's like, even though this feels really painful and difficult for them right now, this breakup, this ending that they're going through, this could possibly be a friend that did them wrong. But I think with Secret Admirer coming out, this was a third party situation where the person that they were with was unfaithful to them, and it involved this fair man or was inappropriate in some way. But with this egg here, like obviously Spirit knows they're going to come into union with you, and they weren't meant to be in this other relationship forever anyway. But they do need to do with the hard work, like they have to do the hard work of healing and overcoming this. And then they will be able to build that home with you in the future, but it's like they can't see that far ahead, you know? Like they don't know anything beyond what they're dealing with right now. But this egg and like the nest, right? Like the home, like they're going to have this beautiful home with you, but right now they're dealing with a home wrecking situation of their own. Yeah, well, that sucks for them. But I mean, they're going to get through it. Man, group one's future spouse was also going through a tough time. So, I mean, it's the start of the new year. So what needs to be released will be released. What needs to go will go. That's the way it is. We have longing. Oh yeah, I do think, yeah, they're still hung up on it. They're still hung up on it. Yep. It's just like red flag city. Like, don't go back there. They hurt you once, they'll hurt you again. Don't go back there. I mean, most of us have done that though. Like most of us have had our hearts broken, and it's like the feelings that you had for that person don't just automatically go away. Like you do have to do the hard work of healing, processing it, moving on, understanding that you deserve better. It just sucks that they've had to experience this. Speaking of new beginnings, yeah, like what needs to be released will be released. And by the time spring comes, they will have healed from this, they will have moved on from it, and they'll be ready for their new beginnings. So springtime, March, April, May could be significant for when you could come into union with them. This could also just be though, this will be when they have moved on from this breakup, this third party situation that they are dealing with. Unexpected, out of the blue. Yeah, I don't think that they saw this coming, like whatsoever. Like they thought everything, I'm hearing it from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I'm so sorry. I thought everything was hunky-dory. Who's hunky-dory? I thought everything was hunky-dory. Water sign, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. I think they were dealing with a water sign that was very emotionally manipulative, like, you know, the shadow side of water sign energy. They were dealing with a water sign who broke their heart. Yeah, divine timing. Like, if you were wondering why you haven't come into union yet with them, this would be why, because they were with someone else who was really bad for them. Not good. All right, enough about this. Let's get back into, like, your marriage, your connection with them. We have control, we have effort, we have flirt, and we have self-worth. I will say with this control here, I think this goes back to what I was saying before about both of you having like strong personalities. Like neither one of you is, you know, submissive or meek or, you know, a pushover, for lack of a better term. So this really is two strong characters who are going to butt heads. Both of you have control issues. I hate to say it, but both of you do. You can think you're a laid-back person all day long, but if you chose group 2, you like to be in charge. And it could be because of your anxiety that you like to be in charge, that you like to know how things are going to go, and that it's hard for you to relax because of that. And that's okay. It is what it is. But I do think both of you are a bit type A. And if that doesn't sound like you, then pick another group or this isn't your reading. But both of you have strong personalities. You have your likes and your dislikes, and you have strong opinions. And so sometimes that does create friction. But I don't think either one of you would have it any other way. Like, I think you two like that. I think you like that. I think that you really appreciate the other person being able to match your energy. And especially if these control issues, especially if they come from a place of anxiety, have made you feel in the past like other people didn't know how to handle you, or other people made you feel like you were hard to love in some ways, I think this is going to be very healing, because this is someone who understands you and has those same issues. And so together you two can work through it because you understand each other, and you're not going to be offended by it. Like, for example, if you are more of a type A person and you have decided that you were going to go out to dinner that evening, and you decided on a time and you said, okay, we're going to leave the house at 6 o'clock. And you were with someone who was like type B and they weren't ready until almost 7 o'clock. You would be irritated. You would be irritated because you agreed that you would leave the house at 6, right? And that would throw you off. But because you're with your future spouse who understands, like, you have this anxiety or like this need for things to, follow a timely schedule, like what you agreed upon, and you don't like sitting around after you've gotten all ready and you're hungry, waiting for someone else to take over an hour to get ready. You see what I'm saying? So, and this is just an example, but your future spouse would get that and they would be ready at 6. Like, so I think it's just this mutual understanding of each other's needs and temperament. And sometimes, it causes friction when you have two leaders who are in a relationship, but I think it helps you to both grow too. And with effort, we talked about this before, but there is mutual effort being put into the relationship. It's not one person taking on the emotional load of keeping this connection going, right? Because, that's really terrible. Like, if you're with someone who doesn't want to spend time with you, who doesn't want to talk to you, who is distant, who makes you feel like you're not a priority. That's really tough. So you're not going to have to deal with that in your marriage. This is going to be someone who really shows up for you. And I think that's what you love most about them, is that you can always count on them and they can count on you. There's that mutual effort. And with flirt here, I think part of you two both being like this power couple is that, both of you have this love of banter. Like you have this love of teasing each other, of challenging each other, joking around. Like it feels very lighthearted. It feels fun. This flirty dynamic between you two of calling each other out, like giving each other a hard time. But I think neither one of you takes it that seriously because you're both similar in certain ways. And I think when you call each other out, sometimes you're also, you're calling out something that exists within you too, because both of you have these like strong personalities. It's like two sides of the same coin almost. And with this self-worth, I do think you two are both very encouraging and supportive of each other, really like hyping each other up. It's like, even though we have this like playful dynamic where we give each other a hard time and we call each other out on like our BS and stuff, but we also really support each other and hype each other up and, point each up and highlight each other's strengths. And with this self-worth card too, and this mirror, it always makes me think like if your partner is mirroring you in some capacity, then you have to be in this place of really loving yourself. Because if they're going to mirror you, they're holding up a mirror, right? So you have to like what you see in the mirror. You have to love yourself enough to be ready for this connection. And that's not saying you have to completely and totally unconditionally love yourself. That's hard. That's tough. It shouldn't be, but it is. And, the society that we live in. But you have to be in a place of being healed enough. You have to be in a place of being healed enough. You have to be in a certain spot in your self-love journey where you feel good enough about yourself to be ready for this union, because there is going to be some mirroring aspect here. But I do think this is confirming to me that both of you will really acknowledge what the other person is bringing to the table in this marriage and really appreciating what the other person offers in the connection. Let's see here. Anything more we should know, Spirit? We have basil, prosperity, luck, and love. I feel like these are 3 blessings that Spirit is giving to your marriage now. These are 3 things you will be blessed with in your marriage. Prosperity, luck, and love. There will always be love. You two will be luckiest when you're together, and you two will be prosperous together. 3 blessings for your marriage. And anytime you see ladybugs, that's a sign from your person. Their higher self is thinking of you if you see a ladybug. We have positivity and change. I think a lot of positive changes are going to happen in your life once you come into union with your future spouse, because you are meant to be this power couple. You are meant to grow and evolve and achieve things together. And I wouldn't be surprised if you two end up starting your own business, like a family business together. And when I say family, that doesn't mean you have to have children, but it could just be the both of you, because Two can be a family, okay? A partnership can be a family. But yes, positive changes will arise. I do think you two could potentially go into business together, or you work together in some capacity, or really help each other advance in your career, in your financial status. We have potion, invigoration, and empowerment. I really feel like both of you boost each other's confidence so much. Like, you're really good for each other in that way. You really build each other up. You know, you don't tear each other down. Can we get a little bit more about their personality, please, Spirit? We have the Empress. And we have the Tower. I'm going to read this two ways since it's a general reading. If you're interested in a divine feminine presenting person, so someone who's really in their feminine energy, then this will be someone who has had to overcome the restrictions that are placed on those who favor feminine energy. They've had to overcome what they were taught about femininity. So this could be being taught that being like soft-hearted or being kind or being giving or being nurturing is a weakness, or that feminine qualities in general are not things that you should aspire to. Like these things are weak and you need to toughen up and you need to be more in a masculine energy to succeed. And I think a lot of women are taught that, like, you need to be in a masculine energy to be successful. And people will even name their like girls like more gender neutral, or even give them like a boy's name because they want to give them a leg up, you know, in the professional world, things of that nature. And so they would have had to unlearn that. Now, if you are, and overcome that in a way where they find power in their femininity, they find power in that. Now, if you are interested in a masculine presenting person, then this would be someone who is in their masculine energy in a way that supports your femininity. It's like, because they are in a healthy expression of their masculinity, they are able to give you space to be in a feminine energy. Okay? Because when you have that healthy expression of masculinity, you aren't triggered by the feminine, and the feminine can be the feminine and doesn't have to compensate for like a toxic expression of masculinity. I hope I'm expressing this well. So what this looks like, let me just give an example for context. If you were with someone who was a masculine energy and they were lazy, they didn't do anything, they were constantly just a burden on you because they didn't do anything like in terms of household chores, they didn't financially provide, they were just a mooch, okay? They were just a sponge, you know, just like using, taking, and not providing anything, okay? Not doing anything to pull their weight in the marriage, in the relationship. And thusly, you and your feminine energy cannot be soft, cannot be sweet, cannot be nurturing, cannot be giving, can't be any of those things, because you have this anger and resentment towards this masculine who's not acting in a masculine energy who is not taking initiative and action to do anything. So you're having to do both the feminine and the masculine role of this relationship. You are having to do everything. You're having to do all of the labor to keep the connection going, because that other person is doing nothing and is just in a toxic, masculine, debilitated masculine energy where they are, you know, like playing the victim, blaming you for their laziness and so on and so forth. And yeah, causing problems. And so then you would be quite angry, right? Like you would be very frustrated at that. This relationship is not that. This is someone who is in a healthy expression of their masculinity. And so this is someone who isn't going to be threatened by your emotional expressions. This is someone who is going to provide. This is someone who is going to support. This is someone who is going to take action to keep the connection afloat. This is someone who's going to do their part, but also not step on your toes. So they're going to do their part, but they're going to stay in their lane. And that's what makes you two a power couple. It's like we both do our part, but we stay in our lane. And that's really beautiful. It's like I appreciate what you bring to the relationship. I appreciate what you do. But I also have my own thing going. And so, it's like both of you have respect for what the other person brings to the table, regardless of what kind of energy you're seeking here. But I think what makes group two, is that this is a marriage where there is two strong personalities coming together who mirror each other in some aspects, but have unique qualities, talents, abilities, characteristics that they are bringing to the table and that there is mutual respect and appreciation for. And I think this is a relationship where you do retain a sense of individuality. Like neither one of you is making your relationship your whole personality. Neither one of you is losing yourself to this connection. And I mean, we see that sometimes. Like I've had friends who do that. Like when they date someone new, it's like they now have all of the hobbies that new person they're dating has, and they don't have a strong sense of self, right? They seem to lose what they like or change what they like based upon who they're dating. This isn't that. Like both of you really retain your individuality here, which I think is beautiful too. Okay, and just to wrap up your reading here, we're going to get some grab bag messages. And these are more specific, so if something doesn't resonate, just leave it, because this is a general reading. And we will get a love token from your future spouse here. We have good for a candlelit dinner. And I'll get you a spark romance matchstick as well. We get 2 of these. We have go on a road trip, planned or spontaneous. I like that. Like one of you would like a planned trip and the other one would like a spontaneous trip. Like sometimes you two butt heads. Rendezvous at a restaurant and pretend you're meeting for the first time. Oh, that's cute. Like, and kind of like recreating your first date. You might do that on like an anniversary. Your person is hardworking. I think both of you really care about financial stability. Like that's something that both of you are very much in agreement upon. Like you both see very eye to eye when it comes to finances. They love music, or they are a musician. And that could be a hobby that they have. Maybe they play an instrument or they're a singer. And you two could also bond over music. Their average height. We have athletic. And this person is more of an extrovert. I'm not surprised to see that, because we did talk about them having like the strong personality. Hi, group 2. I forgot, as a bonus for you, I wanted to get an Alchemy of Spirit message. This is just a message from your guides. Doesn't have to be related to the reading. Just anything they want to say to you. We have the Elephant, card number 40. And I am going to read the guidebook for this because it's actually really good. Okay, we have Spirit of Forgiveness. Forgive all the people you once were. The spirit of the elephant brings the message of forgiveness, which needs to be done through compassion. It's time to make peace with all the people you once were. With the version of you that was naive and was fooled, with the version of you that fell in love with the wrong person, with the version of you that tried a job or started a business that didn't work out, with the version of you that gave up on your dreams. I do think you're mirroring your future spouse, because right now, like, they fell in love with the wrong person, right? Like, that's what they're going through, and they're having to forgive themselves for that. Okay, anyway. You did what you could with the wisdom you had at the time, and now you can do better. Now you get the chance to become the person you needed when you were young. And when it comes to forgiving others, try to offer them the same compassion you give to yourself. Even if you feel that you don't deserve it, but you do, forgiveness is always a gift to yourself. Beautiful. All right, that concludes your reading. I hope it resonated. I hope it brought you some comfort. Please consider liking, commenting, sharing, or subscribing. Hitting the notification bell lets you know whenever I upload. The easiest way to support the channel is to watch the ads. I know they can probably be a little bit annoying, but you can always mute them and just have them on in the background. So I really appreciate anyone who does that as well. I also want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has watched the ads already, been a regular viewer, donated on Venmo, tipped with SuperThanks, or just commented or liked a video. It means the world to me and to Miss Gracie, of course. I'm wishing everyone the best as always. Please take care, and I hope to see you in my next reading. Welcome to your reading. It feels really good to say that again. All right, so let's get into it. We're going to do all upright cards today. A big thank you to my guides and your guides for the messages that we're about to receive. And we're just leaving it open to spirit today. Anything they want to say about your future spouse or they feel like you should know. You know, group 1 gave us a look at what was going on in their future spouse's life, so we'll just see what comes up. Group 2 is more about the dynamic in the marriage, so we'll see what your guides think is most important for you to know at this time. We have the Two of Wands. And if you're interested in a personal reading, I will be restocking the Future Spouse readings on my Etsy store, but I'm trying to catch up a bit because I have to film for Patreon, and then my son is actually having, my baby's having surgery on February 4th, so I'm going to see how he recovers from that, how he does. They've assured me they do quite well with it, babies. So hopefully he's only fussy for a few days and he doesn't feel too bad. But I don't want to restock a bunch of readings and then not be able to film. So I think I'm probably going to hold off until he's had his surgery and see how he does. I'm just chatting because you guys know it can take a while with shuffling. Okay. And I didn't mention that to the other two groups, so maybe someone in here wanted a personal reading but couldn't get one because they sold out. Okay. So we have the Two of Wands, the Lovers, the Devil, Ten of Wands, Queen of Cups, and then we have the Four of Fishes, which is the Four of Pentacles in this deck, coming out with the Eight of Swords. This is kind of funny because sometimes I'll start channeling messages as soon as the first card comes out, and other times I feel more called to wait until I have all the cards laid out, and I can see why I waited today because I don't question it. I just go with the flow of the reading. But the way the cards are laid out here is significant. This Queen of Cups, regardless of how you identify, in this reading, you are the Queen of Cups, okay? You are wanting to find your future spouse. You're like waiting for love, but you're not in this place of like actively seeking out someone. You're just almost like in this energy of waiting for love to find you, because maybe you have tried to seek it out in the past. Maybe you tried some dating apps or things like that and it just didn't work out. And even if you still have the dating apps now, you don't really feel that invested. You're kind of a little bit apathetic, a little bit over it. Like this Queen of Cups, she looks pretty sleepy. She looks pretty over it. She looks pretty tired. She's waiting for someone to come to her island, but, she's not hopping up off her throne to go find someone. And so I feel like that's your energy of like wanting love, but not in this energy of like desperately seeking it out, because I think you're almost like tired of looking, tired of being disappointed, tired of waiting. And so you're just like, you know what? It'll happen when it happens. I'm tired. There's just this feeling of tired. Like, when is this going to happen for me? And so behind this Queen of Cups, we have this Four of Pentacles and this Eight of Swords. It's almost like this energy too of like, I don't know what to do any differently. I don't know what to do any differently. I feel like love needs to find me because I don't know what I could do more to find it myself. And I'm tired, of trying to convince myself. It's almost like I'm tired of trying to convince myself to settle because I shouldn't have to settle. And also with this Four of Pentacles here and like just the bearing of the fish, I think just wanting very much to leave past disappointments in the past and not wanting to fixate on it anymore, because it just brings you down. And with this Eight of Swords, the way the cat is tied up in this red ball of yarn makes me think of the red string of fate. And it's like, I've been trying to follow this red string and I'm all tangled up in it. Like, I don't know where to go anymore. I don't know what more I can do, you know, to like call in my soulmate, call in my future spouse. I don't know. And so I think you're just in this receptive energy. But meanwhile, your future spouse here, they quite honestly are messing up a little bit. And maybe that's part of why you're feeling so frustrated, because on some deep, intuitive level, your higher self, like that connection to your higher self, is a bit irritated, is a bit frustrated, because I think you're at a part, or I should say it like this, you're in a place in your journey where I think you're pretty ready. Your soul is pretty ready to come into union with your future spouse, but your future spouse isn't as far along in their journey as you. So while your soul is ready, their soul isn't. Their soul isn't. They, with this Ten of Wands, are walking in the opposite direction. They're not coming towards you. They're going away from you. And what they're going towards is this Devil energy. There's something unhealthy that they need to resolve. And maybe it's that they're a workaholic and they're too focused on career and money. And they're burnt out. And that's preventing them coming into union with you. And with this Two of Wands, they're at this place where they need to make a change. And I think they know they need to make a change, but they haven't taken action towards it yet. They're not in the Three of Wands. This is definitely your soulmate, though. This is definitely your soulmate. And I think that's why there's this frustration of like, okay, buddy, we have a contract. Like, come on, where are you? I've tried to follow this red string that connects us. When is fate going to bring us together? Well, fate can't, because your person's not ready. So what is it? What is it? Let's clarify. Let's clarify this Devil card here. We have King of Swords. Looks like this Page of Fishes wanted to come out. Six of Cups. Oh, I see. Okay. The details are going to be a bit different for each of you because it's a general reading, right? So I can only get so specific here. But the general issue here is that they don't know how to ask for help. They take on too much. And they have... It's like they take on too much. They do too much in terms of their work, in terms of their career, in terms of like obligations to other people who are in their life. They do too much. They get burnt out. They don't know how to ask for help. And when they do get help, they criticize that help like, well, no one's going to do it as well as I'm going to do it. And if you want something done right, you have to do it yourself. And so no one wants to help them because it's never up to their standard. And I do think this is mostly related to their career. Like, I think they can be a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to their work. They can be a bit obsessive about it. And other people are quite intimidated by them, because they are known for being like the smartest person in the room when it comes to their career. They're the best at what they do. And people, like I said, are intimidated and no one wants to offer them help because it's never up to your person's standards anyway. And this is unhealthy. They're definitely a boss. They're definitely in a high position in their career. They're very successful, but Spirit is about to humble them. I have to tell you, their guides are about to humble them because they've gotten a little bit too much in their ego, and it's detrimental to their mental health. It's detrimental to their physical health too, because all of this chronic stress is not good for them. Sorry, I got interrupted there for a second, but I do think Spirit is going to humble them a little bit because right now they're overly focused on work and it's not helping them. It's not helping them. It is slowing their growth in their love life. They haven't met you yet. They haven't connected with you yet. And they were already supposed to be, on this trajectory towards marriage with you. And so I think there's frustration there, obviously, from your soul that they are behind in this way. But, to be fair, your future spouse does have really great qualities here, right? Like, they're hardworking, they care about their job, they're very passionate about it, they're smart, they're good at what they do, they're very financially well off, they're in a great place. So it's not like this is all negative, and I hope it doesn't sound like that. And we can offer compassion and grace to your future spouse because no one's perfect, right? Like, I think it's frustrating for you. And I want to acknowledge that frustration of man, I'm ready to meet them. And so I want to hold space for that frustration, that I get from the Queen of Cups of I really want to be in union with my future spouse. But I also want to be fair to them that it's okay that they're going through this. They're, a bit of a workaholic. And I don't know if it's really necessarily that they're a workaholic so much as they just really struggle with asking for help and then trusting that once they ask for help, that the other person isn't going to let them down and that they can count on them. And again, to be fair to your future spouse, maybe they work with really incompetent people. Maybe they work with really frustrating, lazy, unmotivated people. That could be the reason for it. And maybe they need to leave that work environment, or maybe they need to, I don't know, find some other way to delegate tasks in a way that doesn't lead to this frustration with them, or they feel like they have to do everything on their own or it won't be done the right way. Let's see with the tea leaf cards, what else is going on in their life, or anything else that you should be aware of. Pale, time to get out of a situation. Yeah, so maybe they're meant to leave their current work environment. 4-leaf clover, great good fortune. Interested to see what that's about. We have teardrops, great personal sorrow. That came out for, I believe, group 2 as well. I think they would be really sad. They would be really sad to leave their current workplace because they've put so much into it, but I almost feel like they've outgrown it. I almost feel like there's a better opportunity out there for them, but they're not seeing that yet. Harp, great happiness. Ant, work, achievement, and success. Hat, you will be playing a different role. Right now, where they work, they're wearing too many hats. They're doing the job of 4 different people, but they just don't see that. And I think, there's a sense of loyalty to where they work. They've been there a long time. They've worked their way up to the top. And I think it can be scary to start something new, but I think once they realize they've outgrown their current work environment and they can actually do something better and work with people who are more so on their level, they won't feel that frustration. They'll feel more supported. And I think they'll be with people, again, who are more so at their level, because there's this feeling of, I've outgrown this place. And so I think it's going to actually be a very lucky and abundant time for them once they decide to make this decision to leave and they start to search for better opportunities. I think that they will find it. And it could be in that search for a different career opportunity that they end up meeting you in that way. But at the very least, they need to resolve this before they come into union with you, because right now they're just so obsessed and fixated on it and so burnt out from the situation. It's putting them in a bad mood. They're not their best self right now. Like, I'm hearing, if you met me right now, you wouldn't like me very much because I'm grumpy. Like, they're grumpy. Like, there's no other, like, way of putting it. They're just not in the best headspace. Yeah, they're due for a new beginning. They've outgrown where they're at now. And I mean, they're just, yeah, like, peace, bye. It's making me think I'm peacing out, bye. It's time to go. Oh yeah, and I'm not surprised that they have some earth sign placements as well in their birth chart, not just that air sign quality, because they are very hardworking, very responsible, and they expect other people to be the same way in their work environment, and they're not. And they really struggle with that. Like, this person likes routine, likes structure, likes following the rules, likes being on top of things. And this is, again, like their personality at work with you. They might be a bit different, but at work, they're a boss. I mean, they are a boss, and they have high expectations of themselves, and they have high expectations of others. And, you know, they just can't stand dead weight on a team. You know, like, they were the person in school that was really a leader during any group project, and they could not stand anyone that did not pull their weight in a group project. It's like, if you want to fail and you want to be lazy and you don't want to do the work and you don't want to participate, then do that on an individual assignment, not a group assignment. Like, you know, because that's the thing too, that they want the team to succeed. And so it's like, if we're not all winning, we're all failing. So do your part. And they get really frustrated when other people don't pull their weight. We have hope. Don't lose faith and stay positive. Yeah, I feel like they need to remember that when it comes to, like, their work environment situation. But I also feel like this is a message to you from Spirit. Like, don't lose faith. You will come into union with this person. They'll be in a much better place and be a much better version of themselves by the time you meet them. Because they need to get out of this. I'm being shown from the Care Bears. You guys remember Grumpy? That's what they're showing me. Like just a mad little bear. Yeah, they're just very short-tempered these days. They're very irritated, easily annoyed these days. And I mean, I've been there before. Like, when you're fed up at a job and you feel like, you know, there's no support from the people above you, and you feel like, you know what, I'm too good for this place. And sometimes it's okay to say, I'm too good for this place. Like, I work too hard. I give too much of my time and my energy. I'm too smart for this. Like, sometimes you can feel like talked down to in a job. Sometimes you can feel taken for granted in a job. And sometimes you can feel like, I've learned all that I can learn here. You know, like, I've done just about every role. Like they've worn all the hats there is to wear at that company or that place, place of employment. Yeah, they've done all that they can do. It's like, there's nothing more for me to learn here. I've mastered everything. So if there's nothing more that you can offer me in terms of expanding my skill set or my knowledge, then like, what am I doing here? It's like they've hit the glass ceiling. There's nowhere more for them to go up. Yeah, offer. I do think there's going to be an offer here for them, because I feel like they're in the kind of position with their career, like what they do for a living, or they could be like scouted out by other like talent acquisition employees for different companies and things like that. I feel like they're being sought out for an opportunity. It's like they don't even have to apply for it. They're being sought out for an opportunity because, again, they're known for being at like the top of their field. Like they are at an expert level. They're high up. Okay, so they're being sought out for some kind of job opportunity here, and they're going to take it. Also, this is telling us that in terms of when you two do come into union, they're going to be making a romantic offer towards you. So they are going to actively pursue you. They're going to express interest in you first. Even if you meet online through like a dating app, like they would be the first one to send a message. And that tracks with like their personality. Healing. I'm being drawn to difficult self-truths. They're having to swallow this hard pill about themselves that they have made their work life their like whole personality, and they're very lonely for it. They've made whatever they do for a living their whole personality, and it's like, I've made all of this money, I've had all this success, and I'm still not happy, and I'm still not even feeling stable, or like I don't even feel at home anymore in this job that's meant so much to me for so many years. And they're really grappling with that, and they're like, what do I have to show for it? And I have all of this money, and who to share it with? Like, what am I even doing? They're having a little bit of a crisis here. Yeah, like this is, I think, the first time in a long time where they're like, something is missing, and my life can't just be making more money, getting more success, getting that next promotion. Like there's got to be more than that. And I think they're finally at that place where they're starting to understand that the most important thing in life is connection. Right? Our relationships with other people, like they're finally starting to see the importance of that, because I feel like that's always been on the back burner for them, and they just kind of always assumed that they would meet someone when the time was right, but they've never given any time to love. They've never created that space for someone to come in. It's like, how was love meant to find them when they've just been going to work, coming home, going to work, coming home, or even if they work remotely, like they're never leaving their house. So how was love meant to find them when they haven't given any energy or effort towards it? And I think you have, but I don't think they have. But they're finally in this place of like, I need a partner. Yeah. They're finally feeling lonely. And you know why? Because they've been keeping themselves so busy. Like when you're so busy, you don't have time to feel lonely. And maybe on a subconscious level, that's why they've been keeping themselves so busy, so they don't have to feel lonely. But that's really what it is. I just want to give your person a hug. Like, I mean, for real. Like, I have a lot of compassion for what they're going through. I do. But like I said, I also acknowledge your frustration with them, or your higher self's frustration with them, that they need to get this together. Because you were already, I think, supposed to be in union. Or at least you were already supposed to have met by this point. Yeah. It's like your higher self is like, get it together. This high priestess, get it together. I mean, for real. Like, come on. I think this is also like a congrats to you, because whatever you needed to heal, whatever you needed to work through to be ready for this union, group 3, you did it. Like, you are ready. Congratulations, you are ready. It's just them. It's just them holding this up. You're ready. They need to get ready. Let's see. I feel like we've been kind of hard on them. So let's just get some messages about their positive qualities, because I feel like we've been pretty tough on your future spouse. And I still want you to feel excited to meet them. We have the Page of Swords. They're very witty. They have a little bit of like a dry sense of humor. But they're funny. But they're funny in like a very clever way. Like, it's almost like not everyone catches it when they're making a joke. But I think you're going to get their humor. They're very honest, very trustworthy. You won't ever have to worry about this person being unfaithful or betraying you in some way or hiding anything from you. And they will have a very sort of calm approach to conflict, and this desire to just reach a compromise instead of always trying to win the argument or come out on top. And they do make the effort to see your side and to hear you out. So they know how to resolve conflict in a healthy way. They're not immature when it comes to arguments and things like that. We have the Ten of Swords. I'm getting an interesting message from this Ten of Swords. Your person, and you wouldn't honestly expect this from them, but your person has a deep sense of compassion for, they have a certain cause that's very close to their heart that they were personally affected by. I don't want to name things because I don't want to trigger anyone, but they encountered something in their childhood that was very, very painful and very shocking to experience as a child. Like, it kind of took away some of their childlike innocence about the world. Like, they had to learn about a certain topic at a very young age that was more of an adult topic. And so that's always been something close to their heart. And they have a lot of compassion for anyone that has experienced a similar loss or grief or challenge. Again, I don't want to name things. I feel like you guys can infer maybe some of the things that I'm thinking of that come to mind. But I don't want to trigger anyone or get too dark or deep with it. But yeah, your person, they have, against that kind of like sarcastic, very intelligent, intimidating demeanor that they have. Because, I mean, they intimidate, like, the people that have to answer to them. Like, they really do. They have a lot of boss energy. But they are actually so soft-hearted and so compassionate and so giving. I think they have a very, like, stoic, reserved nature, so maybe you wouldn't expect it from them. But they are, like, super compassionate, actually. It's funny, though, because I don't think they are very compassionate towards themselves, but they're very compassionate. We have the Hermit. They do have a strong sense of faith, I will say that, and they will not judge you for your spiritual beliefs whatsoever. Like, they're very open-minded when it comes to different faiths, different walks of life, different beliefs, and they won't pressure you to think the way that they think. Like, they really value that sort of freedom in a relationship. Like, we don't have to agree on every single little thing. Like, we can have different beliefs and ideas. Like, you believe in reincarnation and I don't, and that's okay. Like, we don't have to be on the same page about every single thing that we believe in. Like, it's okay if we have different beliefs, especially when it comes to spirituality. Three of Pentacles. Yeah, I mean, we talked about that. They're so hardworking. They're the best at what they do. And I think you're going to be a little bit impressed and turned on, actually, by what they do for their career. I'm hearing it's a little bit sexy to you. So, I mean, maybe if they're like a CEO, or if they are, I don't know, just doing something that you find very attractive. Like, maybe you're, I don't know, like maybe you're very attracted to artists and this person is a very successful artist for a big design company or something. Yeah, there's something very attractive about what they do for their work. And it could just be that they're so successful at it. And I mean, we did get the message that this person's wealthy. I mean, they are financially well off. Strength here. They have a quiet kind of confidence to them. I mean, they're very self-assured. And your person's not like loud and flashy. They're a bit more, like I said, a bit more quiet, a bit more reserved, a bit more stoic. But they have this strength to them. And they do have this confidence, but it's not an in-your-face confidence. It's more of like, I know my stuff. You know, it comes from a place of, it's very rooted in their career. They derive a lot of their self-confidence from their career. But I'm hearing like wealth whispers. So I think there is something there too about them feeling confident because they've achieved a certain like tax bracket. I mean, they're proud of themselves. I do think they're self-made. I don't think that they come from money. And I think they're proud of themselves for their work ethic. And they do have a lot of pride. They do. But that pride definitely comes from them being self-made. And I think just feeling proud of themselves for how far they've come, because it was a really hard journey to get to where they were in their career. And I think that's what's a bitter pill to swallow. Like, I worked so hard to get to where I'm at and I'm still not happy. In fact, I'm pretty miserable and I'm pretty lonely, and that's tough. Like, you tell yourself, oh, I'll be happy when I get this next promotion. Oh, I'll be happy when I'm making 6 figures a year. I'll be happy. But they're not happy. And that's tough. It's like, what I've been striving for something that I wanted so bad, and now I've got what I wanted, and now I come to realize it's not what I needed. And so I'm like, damn. Yeah. I also think here with strength, though, like, this person's going to be your rock. They're going to be your rock. Whenever you need them, they'll be there. Let's get some more messages about your marriage. We have Pine Tree, vitality, longevity, and perseverance. I love this for you. Now, potentially, if you're wanting children, this could signify you having at least one child together, because I'm being drawn to how there are 3 pine trees here. So from two people to 3. But also I like to see this because this tells me that your marriage is going to last. I don't see divorce in your future. So you may have waited a while to meet them, but it's worth the wait and you're going to have a lasting marriage. Yeah, trunk, stability, loyalty, reliability. I think like these would be their 3 greatest strengths. Like this is what they bring to the table in your marriage. They bring stability. I think both in how they are an emotional rock for you, but also because they're so financially well off, that's offering stability as well. I mean, let's be real here. I mean, people argue about money in marriage, so to not have to worry about money, that's a huge blessing. Loyalty, so they're going to be faithful, honest, true, and they're reliable. You can count on them. Again, they're going to be your rock. We have fruit, achievement, success. I do think this marriage in part redefines for them what achievement and success looks like. They've been chasing success their whole life, but they thought success meant money, meant status, and now they're realizing success has to mean more than that because they're not fulfilled by it. Success can look like meeting the love of your life and having someone to share all of that abundance with. And I also feel like anything that you want to do, they're going to encourage you and help you achieve it. So whether that's through emotional support, financial support, they're going to support you no matter what your goals are. And they want to see you win. They want to see you win. And let's see here. What will they love most about you? We have creativity. So if you have an artistic or creative side, they're really going to love that. But I think also they love your style and how you express yourself, the way that you talk. And also, if you're into like home decor or aesthetics and things like that, they're really going to like how you decorate your shared home together. Yeah, they like how you create the home. Happiness. No one makes me happier than you. Like they love how they feel when they're around you. And that's nice, because we talked about them being pretty grumpy right now. Empowerment. They love how strong they feel when they're with you. I think there's something about you that makes them feel braver because they're a very by-the-book, cautious, rule-following person who believes like if you want to be successful, you have to work hard and be smart. Like they're just very traditional in that way, and you really expand their thinking and help them take more risk and chances in their life. That really pays off because I think sometimes they do play it too safe, and I think you're going to have that positive effect on them. Yeah, prosperity here. And it's funny, like we said, they've been chasing money their whole life. They've been defining a successful life by how much money they have, how much, like wealth and status and things like that. And now they're like redefining that when they're with you. That you have changed their definition, or you will change their definition on what it means to be prosperous. And it's like the most liberating thing for them. And I think you start to show them the value not only, in making time for the people that you love, but also you show them the value in money giving you freedom and independence. Like, you show them that time is not a renewable resource. Like, at the end of the day, time is like one of the most important things we have. And so money should give you freedom and independence. It shouldn't restrict you. And so you help them see that, like, time is one thing you can't get back. And by overworking themselves in the way that they have, they're cutting their own time short, right? Like, they don't have that work-life balance. It's bad for their physical health, chronic stress, and your health is your wealth. So you show them the importance of their health, of having time for themselves, of work-life balance, these things. Any final thoughts, please, Spirit, before we do the wrap-up? Soul connection. Yeah, I mean, I think you're tugging on that red string, like, come here, come here, come here. Where are you? Come here. Like, get over here already. And you might be seeing a lot of signs and synchronicities about this person, or having weird dreams. You might even find yourself a little bit grumpier these days because you're being affected by their energy, because your higher selves are already in communication with one another. We have forgiveness here. I think this is kind of a sweet message of, I'm going to forgive you for taking so long to get here. I'm going to forgive you for that. I was mad for a minute, but I'm going to forgive you for that. And this is going to be a very heart-opening relationship. I think the two of you are going to share things with each other that you've never shared to anyone before. Like, deep-rooted things that you may have even struggled in the past to admit to yourself. Yeah, by the time you come into union, both of you have done a lot of maturing, a lot of growing up. And I think that's part of why you're going to have a lasting marriage, is that you come into union not at the right time, but a little bit late because of their issue here. But I think there's something there about you arrived a little bit late, but you know what? Something about that is very on brand for you. And I love you, and I chose you even before our souls incarnated. And I accept this about you, that you are a little bit stubborn. A little bit stubborn. And I think they're going to have to forgive themselves too, that they took so long to see the importance of love and relationships and having a life outside of work and money. And they definitely need to realign their values. Like, money's important, but it's not everything. And not to be so status driven, and not to live from a place of ego in that way. I think there's that, like, Yay lyric that says something like, I thought the book of Job was a job. Like, there's just something there about chasing money. There's another one where he says, I had a dream that I could buy my way into heaven, and I woke up and spent that money on a necklace. Like, I feel like that's the energy that your future spouse was in, because they came from this impoverished background. And when you come from nothing, the stability that money can offer you is like intoxicating, right? Like, you just think to yourself, if I just had money, I would be grateful and everything would be perfect and I'd be fine and I'd be safe. But then you get there and you see how empty it is, and you realize, and I think it gives you a little bit of a chip on your shoulder too when you come from an impoverished background where you want to be seen as successful. You want to be the one who graduated college, who got the good job, who followed that rule book for success that society puts forward. And I think they fell trapped to like the hustle culture. Yeah, and they've had to unlearn all of this and expand their thinking. But don't lose hope. Don't lose hope. And you are going to have some patience with this, but they're going through that process, okay? They're going through that process. They've got to rethink their values, rethink what's important to them. They've got to leave that situation with their work environment that they've outgrown. They've got some stuff to do, but they're going through it now, okay? Let's get some months of the year for when you could come into union with them. So this might not necessarily be this year, but we'll see some possibilities for you. We've got July, August, and we have April. So these could be, 2025. And they could be some year in the future. Let's see. Will group 3 meet their future spouse in 2025? We might not be able to get, I was about to say we might not be able to get a clear answer. You did get the 4-leaf clover in the tea leaf fortune cards, if you guys remember. So this tells me with the 4-leaf clover, sorry, I got interrupted there for a second, but with the 4-leaf clover, this tells me that it does look favorable, okay? Luck is on your side to come into union in 2025, but it's not set in stone. And it's because it depends upon your future spouse. I'm so sorry. You're ready, okay? You don't have to do any more work on your side. There's no issue that you have to heal or bad habit or whatever. You're ready. I'm not saying you're a perfect person because none of us are, but you're ready for this union, okay? There's nothing on your side. You're not the problem, okay? But your future spouse has to work through this. And so it looks favorable that they will resolve this year, but it's not set in stone, okay? But these are the months where you could potentially come into union. So we'll put this to the side. And I do want to get an Alchemy of Spirit message for you. This is just a bonus. Anything your guides want to say to you doesn't have to be related to the reading. We got 2. We've got the village and we have the bear. And before I read these, I do want to use the grab bag. These are just little bonus messages about your future spouse, but they are more specific. So if something doesn't resonate or intuitively feels off to you, it's not your message. They have auburn hair, so like a reddish brown or brown hair with a red tint in the sunlight. They're reserved, so that's confirming that for us. We did say that. They're artistic or creative. I told you I thought they had kind of a sexy job. And I mean, I do think people that have artistic or creative jobs, like, it's attractive, it's unique, it's fun. It's not like boring to hear about their job. They're charismatic. I think that's when they want to be like, I think that's when they're in the mood. I think they can turn on and off the charm. We have, they want to take care of you. Yeah, I think it's important for them to be a provider. And we have, oh yeah, they're romantic. I think this is a part of them that they've repressed a bit. Because I do think like they've really kept themselves busy so they don't have to think about love. They don't have to think about what's missing, you know, and that's probably part of like wanting to focus on what's within their control so they can feel better. Let's get a love token from your person. Good for breakfast in bed. Maybe they're a good cook. Or maybe they're a bad cook and they're just trying to be thoughtful. We'll get a Spark Romance matchstick for you as well. Well, we'll get to. We have turn off your phones and the TV for an evening and talk instead. I love that. I love that because I think I've been noticing that myself, like how much I'm on my phone, because I've noticed how my baby reacts if I have my phone in my hand, which I don't let him see screens unless he's FaceTiming with a family member or something, because it's bad for infant brain development. But I've noticed that, like, and he'll try to grab my phone too. So I'm like, yeah, gotta put the phone away. All right, and we have give each other a give each other a sincere compliment. And I like that too. Like, no flattery for the sake of flattery. Only say it if you mean it. Okay, let's see, card number 19. The Village, moment of enlightenment. This is your becoming. You enter the village as the star shines brightly in the sky. This means a moment of clarity and expansion. This means it's time to live to the highest expression of who you are without dimming your light for anyone. The people around you might not understand your plans or the vision you have for your life, and there will be moments when you could feel misunderstood, and that is okay. You can't live expecting people's approval. Your light and your value do not depend upon others. You are becoming the truest version of yourself, and sometimes that means letting go of certain things so you can create space to welcome the new. At this moment, the universe wants you to trust in what you are doing because you are heading in the right direction. So don't make yourself small to fit in. Take up space and find where you belong. Move through the world with an open heart, your shoulders relaxed, and a smile on your face. Let your light be seen. And we have card 24, the Bear, Spirit of Balance, find your rhythm. The spirit of the bear wants you to search for balance in your life by reminding you that just like the seasons, you must learn to put your energy into action when there is abundance and save it when there is scarcity. You can't have the same level of productivity all year round, and that is okay. Be wise, make a list of priorities, and include your mental health and your spirituality in your chores. Find your rhythm. Learn how to rest. Just as with any other task, resting requires practice. That is so true. Oh my gosh. I struggle with that. Quiet the mind. There is no rush. Life will be waiting for you to return. But know the difference between resting and being lazy. Don't fall into procrastination habits rooted in fear. Don't let tasks accumulate to the point that they become a burden. There is enough time if you find the balance. Love that. All right, that concludes your reading. I hope it resonated. I hope it brought you some comfort. please consider liking, commenting, sharing, or subscribing. Hitting the notification bell lets you know whenever I upload. The easiest way to support the channel is to watch the ads. I know they can probably be a little bit annoying, but you can always mute them and just have them on in the background. So I really appreciate anyone who does that as well. I also want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has watched the ads already, been a regular viewer, donated on Venmo, tipped with SuperThanks, or just commented or liked a video. It means the world to me and to Miss Gracie, of course. I'm wishing everyone the best as always. Please take care, and I hope to see you in my next